Growing up dealing with Asperger's syndrome was tough. I would say my childhood was the most difficult period of my life, and probably will ever be. I had various uncontrollable emotions of crying or vehement rage, which I couldn't control until I hit puberty. Now, ever since my diagnosis, age 2, I've had a very different social life to most, and I'll describe to you my journey in this video. It all started age 2, when I was diagnosed. It was a shock to my parents because I exhibited behaviours like feeling uncomfortable around heavy noises or large crowds. I would often get upset by the smallest things, like if I wasn't the first to press the button to cross the road, or if I was to walk through an automatic door and someone else triggered it before me. These things affected me. I obviously exhibited different behaviours to other children, and so I tried to form relationships. When I was probably 8 years old, I got very adventurous. I decided to team up with some friends and form a gang, like the Purple Hand Gang from Horrid Henry. I would call myself Horrid Henry, have my other partner Rude Ralph, and another Perfect Peter. It was a very funny time. And I used to go around harassing people. It was quite weird, to be honest. I did that for a year. And then with those friends, I eventually went down to their houses individually. Never hang out in big groups though. When I was around 10, we played our version of patball in the playgrounds. And I joined in and I played normally. We'd also used to play cops and robbers, so that was good. But I only had one close friend at the time who I always used to visit. And that's where I started playing, like on the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. I got my first DS age 7 and that was all cool. That was all fun and games. When I was 11, I switched to a secondary school and I formed some new friends there. They were very sensible. They weren't popular by any means. They were kind of, had social difficulties like me. There was one friend I used to go around his a lot, and we just sat next to each other in class. There's another friend who I've always been friends with throughout my whole life. We've all experienced the same kind of social difficulties, but to different degrees. Now, I tried to expand my friendship group, aged 13, 14. I got assigned to a new class, this was in year 9, and I went out with them to, say, the ice rink, say, to the park, making new friends. I used to boast about this on Instagram. People would look at it and the popular kids would think, oh, so cool, and they would mock me. It wasn't nice, especially the online side of my social life, which started age 11, because I posted a lot on Instagram about, I remember I hit 425 posts after just a year and a half, and then I deleted them all when I was 13. Very few remnants remain, even on my own devices. So I was friends with them, and that was cool, because I got to, have some friends who were girls for the first time in about 3 years at that point. And it was exciting. We used to go on adventures here and there. And then when I was 15, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought I was above them now, so I decided to hang with the popular kids. I was allowed to play patball with them, but I wouldn't be fully integrated into their groups. I wouldn't go out with them outside. Some kids had fancy houses, I was never invited to them. Then, age 16, so COVID hit, and once that eased a bit, we went to the common. All of us went to the park, and it was so fun. There were about 500 kids at some peak hours there. And they were kids from all the local schools, all popular, some like semi-popular too. They were all just hanging out and having a good time. Then came along me. I had pretty good friends from my primary school, and they went to the same secondary school as me. So I stuck with them, and they became very popular. So we ended up hitting the park up every day for about 2 months straight. And then it eased off a bit, and we kept going till the end of summer. And in this time, I got exposure and got to mingle with not only new popular kids from other schools, who I never stayed in contact with, by the way. I also grew up a bit. I got past the bubble of just being around other less popular, less socially adaptable people. And I got a taste of what it's like to be popular on a micro scale. After that summer was over, we all went our separate ways, right? Didn't make very close friendships there. And to be honest, the friendships themselves weren't important there, but the lesson is I got to be able to overcome my ineptitude around big crowds And that was a huge turning point for me because I've never looked back after that. I've never lost my ability to mingle with a big crowd like I do now in professional settings. Then age 17, I formed a friendship group. This time not a purple hand gang or anything from when I was 8 or 9 years old, but it was comprised of my 3 closest friends. I'm still in contact with them all today, and we had great fun. We went out to the same park again, but this time it's a different crowd and different area, and it was smaller. We had good fun, you know, classic park meet, we'd drink, we'd be a bit degenerate, and that was a good time. It was like a 3-month period when I was 17 just doing that. So that was 3 years ago now. God, what a summer that was. I was just doing my AS levels, so the year before my A levels, and it was a good way to escape all the studying. We hung out loads that summer, and I was basically the ringleader of this group. I brought them together, I made them all friends. So I also organised trips to, say, we'd go to Brighton for a day and go to the beach there. It was great fun. We also formed friendships with this girl group too. It all kind of got ruined when my friends decided to get together with some of them. In fact, the reason we became friends with them is because one of my friends was dating one of their friends, and then soon another couple got formed out of that. And we hung out for a while before all the breakups happened. But it taught me a lot. Like, I basically led my own semi-popular group, which is socially adaptable. And we went around and did like normal friend group activity things when I was 17 years old. That was invaluable to me. I learned so much during that period. Finally, we come to when I turned 18, an adult. We didn't really hang out as a group anymore. Some fallouts happened, you know, natural progression. People went their separate ways, especially when university came around. 2 of my 3 friends there went off to other universities across the country. And now we have our various university friends. And that's what's led to today. Nowadays I incorporate a bit of everything into my social life. I become a leader at one point. I will co-organise events. I'll bring people together. I will host parties. In fact, I've hosted parties for 6 years in a row now. It's a real achievement being the host of a party, honestly. Get a lot of social status from that. Especially one particularly big party I had when I was 16. Like 90% of the people there weren't even really friends with me. But it was cool to host at least once. It was a thing everyone remembered. And now, as you can see, I've been on various trips with my friends abroad. My university friends, they're very reliable. They take charge, they're smart, and they have the drive to go out and explore and conquer new things. And being around all these people, thousands of people I've met in my life, all of that collectively has shaped who I am today. It has made me socially adaptable. It has made me pleasant to be around, not an obstruction or a nuisance to any group or activity. And I can say I've at least 95% overcome the difficulties of having Asperger's syndrome since I was diagnosed age 2. I feel like I'm in a good position today, and I'm mature enough and ready to go and tackle the world however I may see fit. Thanks for listening to my journey, and I hope you learn a lot about this, that it's a gradual, year-long process to overcome your social difficulties. Get together with people who are like-minded or have some experiences to share, like your close friend. Learn from them, grow, adapt, and change for the better. That is how you will navigate through life. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.